Hey there everybody, this is Caitlin here and welcome to our next episode of Manga First Impressions. Last week we took a little look at a manga called Today's Cerberus. I gave you a little insight into the first volume, whatever, my thoughts and things about it, what I liked, what I didn't like, showed you a little bit of the art style and a little synopsis of the story as it was presented. But this week we have another different manga for you. Today we're going to get a little look at this one right here called Battle Rabbits. Now, I was kind of interested in this from reading the kind of the blurb of it and seeing just like a little bit of the front, because obviously you're looking at it, you're thinking battle rabbits, what on earth is this, like what in the heck is this? So like taking a look at the front cover here, you've got this. At first I thought this was a girl, and all honestly when I first saw the front cover I thought maybe it was some kind of girl, because the guy here is actually a guy, has kind of pinkish hair and he's got rabbit ears here. So at first I thought this was like maybe some kind of fighting warrior girl, but if you actually take a look at the back, and we read you the synopsis here from the creators of I can't even talk. From the creators of 07 Ghost, if I can even speak. Get ready to hop into battle. And now I'm going to mess up this pronunciation of this name, so I'm just going to call him Kaguya, because that's his name, Kaguya. Was only a little boy when he witnessed his father murdered by demons. Despite no one believing him, he'll never forget that moment. Years later, Kaguya is struck by a mysterious light and finds himself at the receiving end of a monstrous attack. A skilled warrior adorned with bunny ears rescues him and sends Kaguya down the path of becoming the Earth's newest defender as a battle rabbit. So the main kind of idea of this manga here, because that first little synopsis might not be like indicate too much as to what it is exactly this manga is about. It's about this guy here, Kaguya, and I'll give you like a brief summary of volume 1, just so you can kind of get a better idea of how the story progresses throughout this volume, or whatever, without flicking too much throughout the pages. So we've got this kid Kaguya here, whatever, you know. There he is there, looking all nice with his kind of like purplish pink hair, whatever. So when he's a little kid and everything like that, I'll give you like a little brief glimpse of it here. He's like, he thinks that his father was murdered. And for all his life, he was convinced that demons murdered his father. But of course, nobody believed him, because, you know, this is manga, it's Japan or whatever. Nobody's going to believe the protagonist when they say that demons murdered their father or anything like that. So he goes about his life forever. He knows the truth, or he thinks he knows the truth, that demons killed his father. Nobody believes him, obviously. But he's basically orphaned by this, and everyone's just like, oh, your dad was a bum, he was homeless, he was just like, he was useless and all that stuff. And he defends his father to the bitter end, you know. He's always there, yeah, he was homeless, but he worked so hard just to like feed me and all this stuff. He's very defensive when it comes to his father. In the end, he ends up attracting this creature, whatever, best if I show you like a little glimpse of it. He ends up attracting this person right here on a bus when he's traveling home, whatever. This person thinks that he's like not a terrorist or something like that, but thinks that he's like an invader to Earth. Like she literally calls him like, you're trespassing, whatever, you're committing like trespassing and all this stuff. So she's like, you need to show me your intergalactic passport and things like that. But then in the midst of this happening, the bus crashes and they come up against a guy who's like wearing a mask or whatever. And he looks like he's possessed and things like that. So she's like, oh my god, he's possessed and stuff like that. Like, here we go. So like the guy's possessed with a mask or whatever like that. And this little rabbit girl is just like, oh my god, it's like an ogre. He's possessed by his heart and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, they're like, oh my god, everything's like terrible and everything, and then Kaguya becomes this guy here, a battle rabbit, which is what they call basically the title, kind of a warrior force, if you want to call it. Like, they're technically speaking in this manga, although from the look of it you'd think it was like magic or like fancy or whatever, I feel like it's leaning more towards this is sci-fi, because obviously these aren't actually rabbit ears, they're like mechanical and all that stuff. And like they talk about things like the people of the moon and the this evil force that he thought were demons are called ogres, but they're like an alien race or something like that. So they come to different planets and whatnot. They tried to like steal, like they say steal hearts, whatever, but it's like they possess people to have their hearts or something like that. It's like really, really weird the way that it's explained, whatever. But the thing that they desire most of all is the ogres like the hearts, or rather the jewels of the battle rabbits. They're like their sworn enemies or something like that, but they particularly like the hearts / rabbit jewels, because that's what they call them in manga, of the battle rabbits. And the most like the delectable one, the most desired one of all, is the golden one, which the golden one belongs to their high-ranking battle rabbits and their leader. And it turns out, after Guyu awakens to the strange power here that he has, if I can flick through it to the proper part here. So, like, this bit here, he awakens to his true power, whatever. He's awesome, he's got a sword, you know, he's kicking butt and all this stuff. He's all cocky and stuff. Like, he's thinking, oh, man, I'm so amazing. I'm going to defeat this mad ogre, and it's going to be great. Turns out, Mao, who is the little rabbit girl or whatever, the battle rabbit girl, who, as far as I'm aware, so far I've read this in this first volume, there's only one rabbit girl. Like, the rest of them are all guys, so I'm not quite sure whether there's some kind of gender ratio thing going on with the battle rabbits or something like that, but anyway, most of them are guys. So she's like, oh my god, you've got like the golden rabbit jewel or whatever. This means that after all this time, you, our leader, have arrived. Like, you've been missing for so long and all this stuff. The seal has been broken, blah blah blah. So he's like, oh my god, what? I'm the leader of these guys? He's not really buying into this and everything. So he's like, first he wants to dismiss it and all this stuff, because he's like, I'm just going to focus on the guy who killed my dad, so I'm going to use this power to do that. And she's just like, no, you need to like come to our headquarters and help us and stuff, fight the good fight to protect the earth, because, you know, that's our job as the battle rabbits and everything. But he's just into it for revenge, which they kind of twist it on its head a little bit, as it turns out his desire for revenge is actually putting him in more danger, because these ogres, or rather the leader of the ogres, has placed like a curse on him, so that whenever he taps into like that rage or the anger or whatever, when he's fighting or whatever, he's more likely to be possessed by the ogres and stuff. And like the head guy's just like, oh my god, I'm going to like steal your rabbit jewel and you're going to become my heart. Like, this is, it's rated teen or whatever, but like there's some clear indication where he's like, you're going to become a part of me and you're going to become my heart, which is kind of creepy or whatever. So he kind of gets tricked into joining the forces of the battle rabbits. Like, there's another battle rabbit dude who's kind of scary looking or whatever, but he's just like one of the high ranking dudes. It's like this guy here. He's like a little bit creepy, but he's just like, you know what, I'm doing this for the betterment of our race or whatever. You're joining us, you're going to become part of our ranks and everything like that. He kind of tricks him into doing it, so it's just like, well, that's not fair or whatever. So they go off and do missions or whatever, kill little alien creatures or whatever that are possessing people. They mainly possess people who are like going through inner turmoil, or like they're depressed, or some kind of issue that they're having emotionally, you know, the kind of standard thing when you've got like these kind of creatures that possess people who are like negative feelings and all this stuff. So then, you know, it kind of ends in like a cliffhanger where like they meet this other battle rabbit and he's like making fun of him because he's all clumsy and stuff, because he's not doing very well with his powers or whatever. The first time he did it, he was like, oh yes, I'm such a badass or whatever, but then he's like, crap, I can't really like handle this properly because I don't want to get too angry with them in case I get possessed again. So that's kind of where it leaves off. So it's a really interesting manga. At first I was like, when I was reading it, I was just a little bit like, I don't know if I can get into this, because literally like, you know, it's one of those ways where it's just like everything feels like a bit convoluted, where it's, well, I don't know if that's maybe just because it's like the very first volume or whatever, so it's just like, oh, it just so happens that he is the guy who's going to be the leader, who's going to like lead them all into salvation or whatever. He's also the guy that the bad guys want because he's got like the best like MacGuffin or whatever. He's got like the best rabbit jewel, whatever they're calling it here. I'm not quite sure if it means their heart or the source of their power and everything, because like there's some kind of conflictions here or whatever, but it seems kind of interesting. I'm not quite sure where it's going to lead into, because obviously it's setting it up where it's like, yo, you're the leader, you gotta step up and like remember all your memories and stuff, you gotta fight the ogres and things, but hey, you're cursed, so just be careful about that. And there's all these people who clearly know more than you, but they're not really going to tell you anything, so I'm not quite sure where the story is going to lead with this. I'm going to assume that maybe it'll be some kind of like training montage or some kind of arc, whatever, where he's trying to learn more about his powers, learn more about the battle rabbits, like apparently his people or whatever. Maybe learn how he became this. Like, obviously, he's not clearly entirely human or whatever. Does this have something to do with his dad? Does this have something to do with his mum? Because I don't think they actually mentioned his mum at any point in this. I think they were mainly talking about his dad. So maybe his mum's out of the picture or something like that. But it's kind of interesting. I'm not quite sure whether I will pick up the rest of it or whatever. I mean, I did pick up obviously this volume 1 because I was kind of interested, because I was just like, what? Battle rabbits? And obviously I play Force Will, so I was kind of interested when I read the main Kaguya and all this stuff. So I was thinking, oh, is it going to be cute bunnies and everything like that? So it kind of wasn't. It was more like your kind of typical, like, what I thought was going to be magical boy, essentially, but it's more kind of sci-fi in that way, because it's more alien races and stuff like that, but I'm not too sure. I don't think I will probably pick up any more volumes of this. I was kind of interested in picking this up because I was like, I'm going to try it out. But after trying it out, I'm just like, maybe not my cup of tea. Might be someone else's cup of tea who's like more focused on like, you know, the inner conflict of the fighting and whatnot, and the revenge story and things like that. Not enough for me to get hooked off the volume 1, but maybe any of you other guys who maybe like the art style have maybe heard of these, of this series, because I've never actually read 07 Ghost. I've seen like pictures of obviously the front covers and that. I've seen it in the shelves and manga stores and everything, but I've never picked this up. So if this is actually really good, this one down here, and you've heard of it, let me know, guys, because I might pick it up, might pick up volume 1, check it out, see what it's like and everything like that. But yeah, if you've enjoyed this kind of like brief synopsis, my thoughts and feelings about it, a little glimpse into this manga, whatever, let me know down in the comments below. I'd love to hear any manga recommendations you guys have, or if you want me to go a little bit more in depth with maybe some manga that I've actually continued on and I've actually like finished and everything like that, please be sure to drop a comment down below. I am always happy to hear what you guys have to say about the video content that I put out. So until next time, guys, I will see you all, as the camera shakes, I will see you all later.